There we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry about that. And let's add. Cold calls power. So if you guys are just joining us, welcome. My name is Tom Lelio with Jet Life Aero, and we're going to be making some cold calls to private jet owners. And sometimes we have to mute it. So I've got some stuff from my YouTube channel you guys can check out. In the meantime, there he is. Going live on the Insta. And then we should be live here on Twitch. There we go. And I think we're on YouTube too. Great. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to make some calls. And in the meantime, enjoy some Jet Life content.
Hello and welcome to the Jet Life Podcast. My name is Tom Lelio. I'm your ultimate jet guide. And with me today is Daniel and Austin of Iron Bird Partners. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We're going to be talking about which should you choose, jet cargo, fractional, charter, or maybe become rich by a jet right out. So gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today.
What's up?
Tom, what an intro right there. That's a true professional.
99. Okay, so we're going through the Citation 5 market.
Right.
Light jets from the 90s. Average price $2.2 million.
About yourselves, Daniel.
Con, how you doing?
The managing partners here at Iron Bird.
And as we're doing this, if you guys have any questions,
and a whole aircraft,
feel free to throw them in the comments, and I'll answer them about selling private jets. That's what we do here at Jet Life Aero.
Between charter, fractional, whole ownership. When it is whole ownership,
all right,
we refer to partners like Tom. When it's fractional, we help you make that decision.
Aircraft.
Net jets or flex jet.
Okay.
And then when it's charter, that's where we can step in and help you arrange good relationships with local charter operators to arrange all your travel.
That's awesome. And where are you guys based out of?
We're both in California.
Ring a ding ding.
Looks like we may have lost it for a quick second. So
you lose me. I'm back.
Yeah, sorry, Daniel. Where are you guys based out of?
BizJet broker in the house.
I'm in Los Angeles. Austin is currently in the desert, Palm Springs.
Cool. But you're servicing and working with operators across the country.
Yeah, globally. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's okay. Fantastic. So
I know you probably get these calls all the time. Not here to waste your time. Just hoping that might be catching you at the right time. If you're looking to make a change in 2024, I'd love an opportunity to work with you. Again, it's Tom with Jet Life Aero. My number is 941-241-2682. And I'll be happy to connect with you. Have a great day.
In terms of which solution on the
Facebook
might be the right solution for them.
Oh, go Glada. That's right, Luke. Appreciate it. Facebook users, there a website to confirm about private jet specs? Yes, there is. Let me see if I can. It won't let me do it. So what you're going to want to do is go to Global Air. I think it's Global Air specs. So make, model, Global Air specs. That's the best thing you can Google. If you Google that, it'll give you a lot of what you want to know. So, for example, if you wanted to go to, actually,
what's going to get you the most value out of
let's
the market.
Do this. I'll show you exactly. So this is a nice thing about live. Gulfstream G5 Global Air specs. So I'm going to share this. All right, Gulfstream G5 Global Air specs. And Global Air, Gulfstream G5 specs. Okay. And so this is what I would recommend and what I use sometimes if somebody asks me about, tell me about the G5. I'm like, oh. So things I'm really looking for: passengers, range. So this will go coast to coast, obviously. This will go over the Atlantic. I'm looking at the balance field length. If they have a short runway, you need at least 6,200 feet for this thing. I might be looking at the cruise speed, 480 knots. So if I'm comparing it to something else, what's the cruise speed? And that's pretty much it. Payload is important too. If you give it full fuel, you can only bring 1,500 pounds of passengers and luggage. And then they give good descriptions down here, a little bit of history on it. So yeah, Global Air is awesome. Shout out to Frank Trey out there in Global Air. But yeah, to answer your question, that's what I would do. I do make, model, and type in Global Air into Google, and that'll help you. All right, let's go to another phone call. This is a great interview with the guys from Iron Bird. Oh, I'm not sharing the right tab. Sorry, guys.
Purchasing a new car. We'll
There you
break
go.
it down, right? You can go Turo.
My
and
pleasure.
Rent a vehicle for a day.
And if
say,
you don't
"Oh, that's a
mind,
great experience. That cost
can you
me
tell me what your name is?
$200,000,
Because
and I was able to
StreamYard's not
do it
showing your name. It's just
before you
Facebook
go
user. So I don't know if
purchase
this
a
is
car for
Frank
$70,000,
or
it's like, wow, this was a great
some random
mistake, or this
person,
was a really
which
good
I'm happy to talk to
opportunity."
random people.
So
That's what I do all day.
start by looking at
All
a
right,
small
New York,
entry-level
New
opportunity.
York.
Work with a local provider through an advisor or some type of
Ooh,
operator
they just
that
bought it
has a
last
good
year.
fleet.
Okay.
You can guarantee high quality aircraft. You can work through the safety and really just start to understand
Mohammed.
more of the attributes that you prefer, right? At the end of the day, this should be a high degree of experience. And in order to accomplish that, you just need to know the data points to be looking for.
I love that. So getting started, you'd recommend taking a charter flight.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what are some of the things, I don't know whoever wants to answer this, but what are some of the things that someone should look for when
Reach
they're
is not
booking a
available.
charter flight
At the
that
tone,
you find
please
most
record your
people
message.
aren't
When you have
aware
finished
of?
recording,
I
you
would
may
also
hang up.
preface by saying, it's interesting when I'm talking with
Hello
new
there, Todd.
jet owners
My name's
or new
Tom
jet
with Jet Life
buyers,
Aero. Just
because
reaching out
sometimes they don't
regarding
know
your
what they don't
Citation
know.
5. I know you
So
probably get
what
these
would
calls all the
be some
time. I'm not here to
common
waste your
things that
time. Just
people
hoping to
might
might
be
be catching you
afraid
at
to
the
ask,
right time.
but they
If
really
you're looking to
should
make
be
a
asking
change
because it's in their
in
best interest, and
2024, I'd
we
be
don't
happy
want
to
have them miss out.
discuss what the market
I think
is,
number
what
one
the plane might be
question
worth,
is
and
always
just any questions you
safety.
might have about
There's two main
Mm.
moving
safety
forward in
auditing
2024 with your
companies.
aviation career. Again, my name is
There's a
Tom with
few
Jet Life
different
Aero, 941
safety associations, but
241
really two main ones, Argus and
2682.
Wyvern.
Have a good day.
And Argus and Wyvern have
And
their
so again,
own
like I mentioned
levels of safety.
before,
On the
you know,
low
I
end
know,
is gold for
leaving
Argus
voicemails,
and registered for Wyvern.
for me, it's about the
On the
energy.
high end is
You know, if
wingman for
these,
Wyvern and
I mean
platinum
it.
for
Like they get the calls all
Now,
the
just
time.
because someone's
Oh,
wingman
Bobby.
or platinum doesn't
Let's see if
mean
he's in a
they're
good mood
safe.
today.
We've seen incidents with wingman and platinum
They get these calls
operators,
all
but
the
that's an
time, and
easy place
so
to start.
I don't want to waste their time. I
As
don't
you
want to waste
dive
my time.
deeper into these things, then you'll
You know,
start
if I
getting
caught him at the right
into
time, then
pilot experience.
let's roll,
So
baby.
there's
What's going on in
there's
Instagram
minimums
world?
of how much time in type
Rhino
of that specific
Cocktails.
airplane,
What's
how much total
up?
time.
Amady BC
When you
Images
start diving
Con.
into some of these more questions, usually having an advisor that helps you, because you can go even deeper. You can go then into insurance amounts, and that's insurance amount is one thing that I really like to look into, because it's kind of a
Oh yeah, here we go.
precursor to where these operators and airplane owners are spending money. And you know a little bit something about insurance as well, but if you're looking at large aircraft like Gulfstreams, and they may only have 50 million or maybe 100 million, that's going to say, okay, well, these people really aren't, maybe they're cutting corners on cost. They say, oh, well, I'm only going to have 50 million on a large airplane. Well, it's like, really, you should be in the 300 to 500 range of insurance. And if you're cutting cost on insurance, what else are you theoretically cutting cost on? Maintenance, pilots, maybe you're hiring pilots that aren't as qualified. You know, all those little precursors and those decisions that I think a good advisor can guide you to will help you make that, that safety, not just your Argus Wyvern rating, but these other small things will help you make those safety decisions to feel like, okay,
He sounded like he was in a good mood, but
and I'm going to be safe.
not for sale. Not
Do you
looking
guys
to
have any
sell or buy.
examples or stories of someone that, chose a charter operator and it was maybe just not a good fit for them, or there was something that kind of, maybe something happened, or any examples of where you've seen, unfortunately,
Oh man,
a patron get taken advantage of because they didn't ask the right questions?
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to some of the membership things as well. We've
Mhm.
seen some companies that, financially were too good to be true.
Ten
And I think
million,
that's
that's
a,
right.
a, a common thread maybe for the last 10 years. When you're seeing operators that pricing is too good to be true, it usually is. You'll see companies like Jedit, you'll see companies like Avant Air, I think it was Airavanti, and even Jet Suite, who all had issues where their pricing was way too
That's
good.
right.
They were below market. They were taking
Okay,
deposits.
I think this
The
guy has a
deposits
five
weren't
too.
in escrow, so they just were mingling deposits into their
How good
operating
they did
deposit.
sell.
And when the company eventually went belly up, I've had clients lose hundreds of thousands. I've even had a couple clients lose like
Jeez.
$1 million deposit, which is, even these people are very wealthy, but still, like,
This is a
you're
cool
losing
video. He's talking
hundreds or
about watch
millions of
out what
dollars
charter
is a
companies you guys
big
work with,
hit
because
for
they can be a
anyone.
fly by night operation. You're in
Mhm. And
deep
so
doo doo.
obviously in that case, we're dealing with a jet card or fractional kind of ownership. But what questions could they have asked to
There you
help
go.
them avoid the mistake of losing all that money?
I think anytime you're making a large deposit, you want a good track record. No one's
Mm,
no one's ever going to be concerned about their money when they give it to NetJets. But when it's a smaller company, I think you really have to do your due diligence, understand if
Ring, ring, ring.
they are commingling your deposit with their operating funds. You really want it outside of those very large companies of, I would say, FlexJet and NetJets. If you're giving a large deposit, you want to make sure it's completely separate from operating, and it's probably you want it to be in an escrow account as well.
This is Tom with
sure.
Jet Life
Right.
Aero.
So
Hope
they
you're doing
can't
well.
commingle
I'm just
funds
going
for
through the
sure.
Citation 5 market. I wanted
Sticking
to
with
see if you guys have
charter,
been making any
if I'm
plans
interested in
to
in
change
booking a charter
with the
jet, how
Citation
do I
5 this
figure
year.
out
I
like,
know last
do
year,
I
I think
get
there
a
was
light jet? Do I need a
a
medium jet, a
report
heavy jet? Like,
on
how do I
the
pick the
5,
right
and I just wanted to check
plane?
in and
I
see if you
guess for
guys
the first
are
part, and then the next
moving in a
question would be,
different
how do I pick the
direction
right operator?
this year.
Yeah.
We'd love an
I
opportunity to
would
tell you where the
say if
market's
you
at,
are
what
coming
it might be
into a
worth,
market,
and
maybe you
we're just going to
moved
go
or
from
you're
there.
just
Give me a
starting a
call. We get a
charter,
chance 9 for
I
1,
would
2 for
probably
1,
have
2682. Have a great day.
local operator in step one, and then find a
Local.
good local charter broker. And I would make two
Okay.
phone calls. You find a good larger local charter operator that has a few airplanes that can service you at your home base airport, and then
Okay.
you want to bring in a charter broker to kind of cover the rest of the market. There may be airplanes that are not based at your airport that may be transient. There may be one-way opportunities. And that's where I think the charter broker might do a little bit better of a job than charter operator. However, if you find a good local charter operator that has airplanes that fit your profile, and when I say profile, it's something that you can kind of discuss with your operator and broker. They'll ask you the typical questions. How many people do you have? Where are
Mhm.
you going? What the distance is? And that'll give you the basics of, okay, I'm flying 3 hours. I need a plane that can take 6 people and fly 3 hours. But
Mhm.
they'll want to dig in, or they should dig
I think this
into
guy
the
owns a
Hawaii
football
travel.
team.
Do
I
you
Googled
have
him.
an important meeting? What happens when this airplane has a mechanical issue? What's that look like?
This
Do
guy
I
just
pay
bought
more if there's a replacement airplane? What are my cancellation
this
terms?
one.
What are my
Mm.
payment terms? A
Mm.
lot of these things that you should be digging into, because
Hmm.
in the charter world, flying is a little bit more cumbersome than the jet card and fractional space.
Okay.
People
How so?
tend to move from charter to fractional, because it's a lot easier in the fractional and jet card space than it
Let's take a
is
look
in
here.
charter. There's a lot more.
Hey guys, appreciate
Like
you checking this
scheduling
out.
or like
Yeah.
logistics that
Off
are
to the
already
next phone
worked
call.
out, as opposed to we got to fly by the seat of the pants because we don't know who needs to go where and when.
Again, if you have any
The
questions,
why fractions
I'll
and
be a
jet
broker.
cards cost between 30 to 50% more than charter on some routes is because the simplicity. With jet cards and fractions, you are paying one rate. If you're flying 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you are paying that one single rate. With charter, the pricing can go up and down. The airplane that you may want to charter may charge a higher rate for shorter flights. If you are doing an overnight, or if you're staying multiple days, a charter airplane may have a daily minimum charge. It may charge different amounts based on you're flying 5 hours versus 2. you're also going to have to deal with airplane availability in the charter marketplace. Now, I'm destroying charter. It's my whole business, but let me give you all the difficult things with charter first.
Yeah.
You have to deal quite often with airplane availability. So the airplane that you really like and is a great rate may not be available that day. Now you have to book either an airplane that costs more. So that flight that you've taken 3 times that cost the same now costs 25% more because you're taking another airplane. Or the airplane may be used by the airplane owner
Every day.
and you booked it, but now the airplane owner says, hey, you know what? I've got an important business meeting. So I know you've had this
All
charter
right.
booked, but I really need my airplane. Now you're booking another airplane. So there's a lot of logistics. You know, I've had a pilot quit.
All right.
Wanna
Let's see
talk,
who else is out there.
Nightmare story. I had a Gulfstream G600 flight,
Nightmare story.
and they were doing a flight previous to mine.
I gotta get a hold of these guys. It's been a
They
minute.
land in Florida, and then my trip was a Florida to New York trip. And if you can hear my Boston accent coming out in Florida, sometimes it does. I apologize. So as they
These
land
guys
in
so they know
Florida,
where.
the co-pilot quits, walks out of the airplane, says, "I'm done." And they had, and the client calls us and says, "Hey, the pilot just left."
So appreciate you guys tuning in.
We call the operator.
Like I mentioned,
and they go, "Yeah, like he quit. Sorry."
check
like,
out
there's
or ask
nothing
any
we can
questions
do.
you have
We're gonna let another pilot out, but the guy just got up, said, "I can't take this anymore. I'm
regarding
not working for you anymore."
some
Quits.
private jets to be
Now,
having out
luckily,
there.
the client had some flexibility. He went the next day after a very large discount. But the charter is a non-guaranteed solution. So actually, in your charter contract, if the charter operator cannot
Alright.
perform for any reason, they are not guaranteeing you a replacement. Now, 90% of the time, they'll give you your money back. But with jet card infractions, you are contractually guaranteed to get from point A to point B. So if an airplane has an issue, pilot has
All
an
right.
issue, they will send another airplane.
I thought this guy's name was
There are
Gandolfini,
situations where
like
they just
James
can't.
from
Some
Sopranos. Any
peak
Sopranos fans
days,
out there?
Sure.
As you're getting late
Forget about
in
it.
the evening, in some situations, they just don't have any airplanes, but contractually, they are guaranteeing you in jet cards and fractions on most to an airplane. Charter, you're not contractually guaranteed. And that's
one thing was
but
we
quite
Your
often
call
that's
has
why you're
been
paying
forwarded to the
30%
voicemail
less.
for Jim
Right.
Madinal.
No, I definitely certainly
No one is
see the
available.
benefit
You
of
call and
charter
it's just,
for
At the
individuals that are
tone,
just
please
getting their
record
feet
your
wet.
message.
I love
Pictures.
the
When you finish recording,
analogy
you
of
may hang
Turo.
up
It's a
or
great way.
press the
And that's
pound
one of the
key
things
for
when
more
someone calls me
options.
and they're, hey, I want to buy my first jet.
Tim.
My first question is, have
Tom
you
with Jet
ever
Life
flown
Arrow.
private
Good
before?
afternoon. Reason for the
No?
call is
Tell me when your next
reaching out
trip
through the
is, 'cause I've
Citation
got,
5
charter brokers that need
market
to,
today.
book a
I know you
trip for
probably
you to
get
make
these
sure
calls
that
all
this
the
is,
time. And
I don't want to
frankly, I'm
spend
not
that
here to
much
waste your
money
time.
on,
Just
on
hoping that I
chartering
might
a
be
trip.
catching you at the right
Dude,
time.
if
And
you
if
can't
so,
afford,
you're looking to make a change in
$20,000, $30,000 for a single
2024
trip,
with
you
the jet.
probably don't.
I know it's only been a few years since you've had it. But maybe it's time for something new,
And
something
what's nice
faster,
about, you
something
said, like,
with,
so it's
with
it's
longer
low
legs.
risk,
I don't
but
know.
you're also,
You tell
because
me.
they have to be
If
so
you're interested, give me a buzz at
flexible
your
and
convenience.
so
941
cognizant of
241
every little thing.
26
You know,
82.
you can get
Have a great
high
day.
prices, you can get low prices. There's the non-guarantee thing, so there's definitely benefits and risks when it
Look at
comes
that
to
handsome
charter.
man with
One thing I
hair.
want to clarify is
Some cold calling magic. That's right.
person or the company that's in
Thanks,
charge of
Dan.
taking care of the aircraft and,
Yeah,
and
man.
logistics of scheduling
I
and
saw Gary
dispatching
V
it as
doing
well.
this.
The charter broker. Let's
So
just talk
he's
about
got a
that
lot
real
more
quick
people
before we
watching
move
him on
into
Twitch.
into the fractional side. Let's talk about a charter broker. They're not always part of the operator's company. They're usually operator
This is a
agnostic,
cool
although a company may
5,
have
by
a
the way.
broker sales division.
Let me see if I
Let's talk
can
about what is a charter
post
operator,
without
what's
the
their
town
main
number.
role, what are the
Yeah, look at
benefits
this.
and the
Okay.
risks working with a charter broker. Obviously, one of the things that most charter brokers will get dinged for is like, well, if I went straight.
That's pretty cool, right? That's a cool looking bird.
Yeah, if you guys kind of share a little about what is
Back
the role
to
of a
Daniel
charter
Harris.
broker, what are the pros and the cons of working with one?
Yeah. Well, I'll dive into the charter operator first, and then because I've been on both sides. I've done both. The charter operator is the 135, which is the regulation that you fly under when you're flying charter. The 135 operator of the airplane. There's two real types of airplane operators. There's aircraft management companies. So just think of almost like vacation management companies. If you own a vacation home, you can give it to a company that will manage it. It'll help you rent it out to people that want to stay in your home. It will maintain it. It'll help you with
YouTube.com
everything that
/
staff it
the
if you need to.
ultimate
That's
jet
what an
guide.
aircraft management company does. If you're a
Mhm.
corporation
Trying
or
to book some
individual,
guests for the future. If you
buy
guys
an
have any guests that
airplane
you want to
and
see
you
on the
want to
podcast,
charter it out,
let me know. I'd love
it's
to.
smart to give it to a good aircraft
I
management company.
can call
They
you.
will then
at
go out and find other people. They'll find direct retail clients or charter brokers,
What's your
and
number?
they will charter your airplane when you're not.
Can I get your number?
You can also give it. You can also give your airplane
All right,
to a
next
company if you're not even interested in charter.
Right. They just handle the logistics of it. Yeah.
Which I
Hmm.
would suggest. Some people like to do it on their own, but I think there's always value in giving your airplane
4X.
to a
Oh,
good
Tel Aviv.
management company.
That's cool.
I think some of the downsides
There's one for
to
sale.
an aircraft
Oh, Lee.
operator is they're very focused on, as they should be, very focused on their fleet and their
Let's see what he's up
airplanes.
to.
They're not
Mm.
as focused on the entire market as a whole of how to service that client. They
Stop.
really want you to fly because they're airplanes.
I know.
Mhm.
And I
I
think
make
that's
phone
where the
calls.
value of a charter broker comes into play. A charter
Mm.
broker will come in and a good charter broker will analyze the entire market of all the airplanes available. They'll provide you guidance on here are good operators. And even within each operator, there may be a good operator, but there may be bad airplanes or bad crew members in that operator. So they'll say, here's a good operator, and here's an airplane inside that operator that I really like to utilize. We've had success in the past.
And have a great day.
And they should provide you guidance. Sometimes charter
It's
brokers
Tom with
don't
Jet Life
have a
Arrow.
ton
Hope we're doing well, my friend.
of
I know the 5 was
expertise in the
going to go through
operations.
some work
So
at
if
the end
there's
of the
crew
year
duty
and
issues or mountainous
just
airports,
reconnecting, see if you guys
you
are
really,
still
I would
open
say
to
when you're
listen
working
for
with
sale.
a broker,
If you get a
you wanna
chance,
make
give me a
sure that they
buzz.
have
941
some
241
operational expertise.
2682.
And I
Talk
think
to you later.
that really helps when you've worked for an operator before, that you get
Hey,
involved in a lot of
Ursu.
issues, crew duty issues, overnight, owner approval, a lot of these issues that can happen. You really want a charter broker or even your rep at the operator to help you get in front of a lot of these issues. A good operator or a good broker will answer the questions before you have them. You shouldn't walk into a trip and be surprised that, oh, I only have
What's up, Ursu?
this airplane flew earlier today.
I don't know if I'm going to keep this on YouTube or not. I don't think I will.
A good operator or a good broker is
I
gonna
mean,
get in
maybe I
front of
will.
those
I don't know.
questions for
I don't know
you
who wants to watch the
and
replay of
brief
somebody
you so you're not
making
surprised.
cold calls.
Gotcha. No, that makes a lot of
I
sense.
just don't
So in
see
that
the
sense, it's worth to pay the extra to work with a broker over an operator.
see the
It
appeal.
can be. If you have the same flight and you're operating, you've got a house in Aspen, that's the only flight you do, and this operator has the airplanes
pilot.
and they're always available, then work with that operator. But if that operator is having availability issues or doesn't always have airplanes that you want, then I think adding at least one broker, I would suggest against shopping with different brokers and different
Yes.
operators. I would say
Yes.
work with one really good operator, work with one really good broker, call them both, and then see what they can come up with. Because the market, everyone has access to the market pretty much. So anyone can call and get this information. Now, some brokers and some operators have different relationships, so they can get preferred cancellation terms, pricing. But
All the
calling
information needs
5
to make
different
a
brokers,
informed decision on what to do
they're all
next.
going to provide the same
If that's of interest, give me a call
airplanes,
941
same
241
similar pricing.
2682.
Really find
Appreciate
a
your
good
time.
operator, find a good broker you trust, and I would say stick with them.
Cool. No, I appreciate that. Makes a lot of sense. So I've taken my first charter flight. Now I'm ready to get into aviation.
What's up, guys?
as
If
like
you're
an owner
joining
of
us
some
today,
kind. What is the difference between a jet
feel
card
free
and a
to
fractional
ask any
ownership?
questions that you have regarding
Yeah,
selling private jets,
with a fractional
cold calling,
ownership, you're
sales,
actually
marketing. I'm here for you
purchasing
guys.
a portion of that asset.
Even though it feels like y'all are here for
It's
me,
quite often,
I appreciate it. It
especially if you're
keeps
doing
me
a tour
accountable.
business, there's some tax
Means
advantages.
I got to keep
just
making these
similar to
phone
purchasing a
calls
whole aircraft.
because if I don't, y'all
With the jet card,
Call me
you're
out.
purchasing normally a block of hours or
Interesting.
an access to a block of
This
hours.
guy's got
at a
2
specific
birds.
time.
Just bought the fun.
You're
Oh no, he
getting
just
both,
bought.
you're getting a guaranteed rate with both.
Interesting.
Now the
Okay.
rate
He
may
just bought it
fluctuate
too.
a little bit as
What's up with that?
fuel, and every year there's usually a percentage
Oop,
increase.
here's the mobile.
But the main difference between the fraction and the jet card is with a fraction, let's say a net jet fraction, you're buying an eighth of an airplane that guarantees you a certain amount of hours. You pay upfront for that asset cost. And then at the
Mhm.
end of your term,
There we
you're either renewing or you're selling that asset back.
Oh, interesting.
The tough parts about it is, well, where fractional companies make a lot of money is they are purchasing those assets at a discount. But
Sure.
when they sell you that fraction of the asset, they're not
Right.
passing that discount to you.
Thank
And
Right.
then when you
Thanks for
go
calling
to
and
sell
have a
back
wonderful
that
day.
asset, they're really not giving you the true
Right.
value of that asset. So they do a great job of making money on either side of that transaction.
Yes, I've certainly seen that where, you sell it back to us. You paid $1 million into this. You sell it back to us, and we'll give you $600K for it. And it's like, okay.
Well,
So
really, that asset when you bought it was 800, and they sold it to you for $1 million. And when they, when you sold
Expectations
it
over the
back, it
past
was
couple of years,
700,
and
they bought it
would
back
love
at
an
600.
opportunity
So
to
they do a good
connect
job
with
of
you
making
and do
money
business together. So
on
if you get a
both sides of
chance,
those transactions.
give me a call at your
Okay,
convenience.
so
941
so what's
241
why would I choose a jet
2682.
card
Again, it's
over,
Tom with
a
Jet Life
fractional,
Arrow.
or is it
Have a good
more
day.
usually the fractional might require more upfront costs, or the fractional is better for more usage,
What
whereas the
up,
jet card is better
guys?
for less usage and less upfront costs? Like, what's the difference between those
Feel
two?
free to ask any
From which one do
questions
I
regarding
choose?
selling private
Yeah, those
jets,
are both
or
true.
if you want to ask questions
Another
about
thing is the fraction is usually a longer term. So you're usually getting into a fraction of 5 years. So
Oh, wow.
it's a
ask any
longer, and then
questions,
usually the jet cards are quite often
sales, marketing.
25, 50. When you start getting
Happy to
into
help
the
you. We're gonna
75 or 100, that's when you look
hop on the
into
tickety
fractions
talk.
and leases. Usually for the 25, 50-hour flyers, that's when jet cards work well. We're seeing a lot of clients do a combination, which I think is smart. They'll buy 25 hours on their
Excuse
jet
me.
card or 50 hours on their jet card, and then they'll charter 25 or 50 hours depending on the trips. Another advantage between charter and jet cards, and it kind of comes back to that guaranteed rate, is when you're traveling one way or short distances, there are some solutions where jet cards are going to be better priced than charter.
Oh,
If you're chartering
Going live on the
coast to
tickety
New York,
talk.
LA, or San Francisco, Florida, there's some good
What up, TikTok?
one-way
My
pricing
name's
when you're
Tom. I'm
chartering.
your ultimate jet
But if
guide,
you're-
and today
you're
we're
not
cold
chartering
calling
those main
private jet
routes
owners
and
to
you're
see if
flying
anybody wants
one
to
way,
sell the private
then
jet.
you're for jet cards, although you may
Feel
be
free to
paying
ask
a
any
higher
questions
hourly rate,
you got in the comments.
because say you're
Let
flying
you know.
from Sun Valley, Idaho.
We're pulling
to
back the curtain on private aviation.
Dallas, Texas. If you were to charter an airplane, you're going to pay for round trip pricing, even though you're flying one way.
mhm.
So at
They would
that
say
point,
this number doesn't
jet
connect.
cards are going to
So
be a better
love to see how this
cost
goes.
because instead of paying for an airplane to go Dallas,
All right,
to
cutting bait.
go in
30
empty
seconds
and
in,
then
nobody
come back to
answers. We're
Dallas
cutting
live,
bait.
you're only going to pay for your live leg.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
having both,
And so that
25
audio
hours
that
jet
you're
card,
hearing,
and
hey,
then
LK
utilize
Meyer,
your operator or broker
uh,
when maybe the charter market
if you're
can provide
following me
more
on
value, is a
YouTube
good
or
way to
Twitch
have a balanced
or
portfolio.
LinkedIn,
Yeah. No, I love that you kind of put
you,
that.
you could see
I
a
like how
YouTube
you
video is
put it
playing in the
where it
background.
doesn't have to be
Sometimes
an
I have
either
to.
or.
Ooh,
So you don't have to go to
this
the
one looks
charter
nice.
and then you step up to jet card and then you step up to fractional, then you step up to ownership.
This one
You
looks
can
really nice.
do a hybrid
Sometimes
model
I have
throughout.
to.
And the
Oh,
whole thing behind everything
I felt
is
this plane.
working with someone as an advocate or a guide to help you
I felt
navigate
this.
this. Like, just like you would have a realtor navigate,
Let me see.
different homes, different owners, different vendors. I mean, that's kind of where a charter broker or an advocate, kind of like what you guys do at Ironbirds. Why don't you maybe talk a little bit about what role you guys play in this whole scenario for people?
Let's go.
This is a good one for Austin.
What up,
Yeah,
TikTok? Riaz?
we found ourselves, obviously our background is very different. Dan has an immense amount of knowledge and has, helped people purchase everything from selling on a charter desk for an operator, working for brokers,
Hey,
working through, more of that larger portfolio approach through jet cards and fraction purchasing and management of all of those assets. And I was more on the operator side in aircraft management, going through that. And as we quickly found ourselves, there's a lot of different incentives for people, and there's a lot of misalignment in where some of these advisors or supposed advisors, and at no fault of anybody's own, can sometimes create that guidance, right? So, as Dan mentioned earlier, an aircraft management company, they exist because they manage individually owned assets. They have to keep that is their highest priority, is to keep those customers and those clients at the forefront of every single decision. So when they propose a flight, that's going to be on their fleet, maybe in a specific airplane. If you're in the open charter market, maybe that isn't the best fit, and maybe there's something else. So we like to describe it in a way, Tom, where we wanted to reverse what side of the table we were sitting on, where there's an immense amount of gaps, and there's a lot of knowledge that we've been able to collect and expose ourselves to, that we can help guide better aviation buying decisions. And that comes from everything of what we can physically support in-house as far as ad hoc purchasing, or, being able to work through partners like yourself and really kind of align people with trusted resources in specialty spaces, or be able to actually walk somebody through and just start to highlight some of these questions we're talking about. I mean, I think we can probably list off almost 100 variables that we've covered so far, and it's been a 20-minute conversation. So if you compound this across an individual flight or an individual purchase, and I'm sure on your side, there's such complexity to everything that it's making sure that you have somebody who has an independent bias and only cares about your best interest, because this industry must require good experience, because if not, that's when it all fails. So our goal is work with people who appreciate that, who are willing to, kind of provide some degree of payment for that level of service. We don't work with everybody, right? We don't select some of the people who are just trying to fly empty leg flights or something like that. Now, we're here to offer guidance and we're here to help, but really it's those who are interested in making intelligent decisions across any aviation solution that's out there.
So what is the services like, what you guys offer? What does that usually cost somebody?
It's varied. I think that we try to make sure that, again, if it fits for us and it allows us to actually provide good value, our goal is always to create something that's at or below market value. So if we can go out and quarterback something and you're not going to pay any extra, that's a win for us and it's a win for you. We can elevate that service, if we can elevate that overall experience, and
why am I paying all these bills?
That's fantastic. So for charter, we do have obviously, a service baked into each of those trips where it's just going to become at a margin. Typically, we try to create that margin not on the back of a client, it's on procuring really good airplanes at a discounted rate through buying power, through being creative and understanding how airplanes are moving and some of the optimization there. There's a lot of ways that this can be a win-win. I think that where a lot of people get bad raps is, no different in the sales and acquisition space, where you've got, double purchasing and different things behind closed doors that create this lack of transparency. And that reduces so much of the trust, where we don't want to price ourselves in a way, or we don't want to gouge somebody in a way that, we do one trip for them, or we help them go procure one product and all of a sudden they don't call us the next year because they realize that was fairly inequitable and that wasn't a good approach. Right. Yeah. So we would rather sit there and say, look, Tom, we want to work with you for the next 25, 30 years. We want to help you follow that journey of, you're chartering a Phenom 300 for a year. Then all of a sudden you're into super mids. Then all of a sudden you're into heavies. Then maybe you go to a jet carb. Then all of a sudden they're calling you and they're making that purchase and, having a great acquisition experience. So it's really just making sure that we can provide a value at a market degree of pricing.
So on average, should a charter jet card fractional kind of a client expect to pay maybe somewhere in the realm of 5 to 10% of whatever they're going to pay for the additional advocacy. So, for example, for a jet broker, commission could be anything for 4 to 6%. I mean, that's just kind of, so when you're paying, for your jet, somewhere in that there's a 4 to 6% swing for the broker to help facilitate the deal. Is it similar in the charter world where we're dealing with a range?
Well, I think there is a range, and it's completely unregulated. So the
True.
charter
Yeah.
brokerage is so. I've seen pricing where people are charging 25, 30%. I've seen pricing where they're doing it 2 to 5%. I think a fair range is between 10 and 15%. We tend to just fall at the 10% because it's easy, it's transparent,
Right.
it's just straightforward, and it
Yeah.
makes it easy for the client. They understand what we're charging. It's it's our goal to go out and provide that value. We want to provide not just finding airplanes that they wouldn't find on their own, which we do. It's really a single source of information. So when they call in, they're not calling into a company that they don't know who they are, they don't know what their trip is. And really it's the customer support of getting in front of issues. So understanding when airplanes are positioning, when they're coming on or off duty. We've had plenty of times where we haven't seen an airplane depart from their positioning airport, that their live leg is not for 3 or 4 hours, but we've seen their positioning leg get delayed, and
Okay.
the operator didn't call us. And if we were the direct retail client, they probably would have only known about this delay when they showed up at the airport. So getting in front of that, a lot of those issues, and really even before we actually book an airplane, we say, okay, this person wants to depart at this time. What's the airplane schedule look like? That's really the value I think that a good charter broker or consultant will provide, is getting in front of those issues before an operator does. Operators are busy. They're focused on pilots. They're booking cars and rental cars and hotels. Sometimes because of that, some of the client communication it falls a little short, and I think that's where brokers provide a lot of value of not being annoying to the operator, but really making sure all the communication and all the things are checked off their list to provide the best service to the client. And it's a win-win for the operator. If the broker is helping the operator, and the operator then performs better or communicates better to the client through the broker, it should be a win for that operator.
Absolutely.
And Tom, I think another aspect to that is, you, as we kind of look at that pricing band, there's a lot of trust that goes into it, with not just who a client is entrusting their service with, and that degree of, whether it's a broker, whether it's an operator, whoever's kind of advising them in that role. Obviously, they understand somebody's making money throughout that. On the other half, what they don't see sometimes is maybe you like to go out of a certain FBO for every single trip, and maybe every operator doesn't fly out of that FBO. Well, maybe we'll go eat that $1,000 cost every single flight, because we want to make it as easy as possible for you. Maybe we had a pilot that was sick the day before and had to go find an entirely new airplane, and in the market that was 4 or 5 or 6 or 10% more. Maybe we won't pass that along to you, because again, there's a lot of that
That's a good call.
dependency. So back to Dan's point early on, where when you find somebody that you really enjoy working with at any degree of service and products throughout the industry, it's so important to kind of reflect on what are they doing that maybe we're not seeing. And when people start to shop, you start to erode a little bit of that. So it's not necessarily that we're saying, stick with one person and trust them through and through. You should always be an intelligent purchaser in anything, whether you're going to Costco when you're buying groceries or you're procuring your next flight. One of the most important parts is enjoy and entrust
one of our brokers. So we're doing a power hour with all of our brokers today.
All this industry,
and
the same
one of our brokers got told it's
airplanes
none of his
in the
business.
United States, right? Like, I mean, nobody.
It's none of your business.
Some
You're absolutely right, sir.
differentiator that's going to
Have a
change
great
your
day.
life in a huge way. So enjoy who you work with, and know that they have your best interest through your own vetting process.
Oh man, I really appreciate that. Well,
Oh,
gentlemen, there's so much more I want to talk to you guys about, so we'll definitely have to have you on again. But please tell us, where can people find out more about what you guys are doing? How can they connect with you if they're interested in the charter, fractional jet card world, and they're looking for a guide to help them? I'm the ultimate jet guide. I can help them with the purchase, but I would love for them to have an ultimate charter fractional jet card guide to go to. So where can people find out more information about you guys?
Our website, flyironbird.com. We also try and do some good LinkedIn updates. So if you follow us on LinkedIn, myself, Daniel Harris,
well,
we
that's
post our work constantly.
right.
It's a good way to connect with us, either through our website or LinkedIn.
Awesome. And you guys got a podcast as well,
You
right?
can lead, actually.
We're just trying to be like you, Tom, when we grow up.
All right. It's like,
That's great. No, I definitely encourage anyone watching to go over to their YouTube channel and check out the podcast. There's some great guests, some really great insight.
that was a good interview with them. Let's see who's
Let's
next.
go over something I haven't gone over yet is
Oops.
the different types of aircraft that are available, the pros and cons to them. And I'm
Let's
going to do a full
do-
webinar on this, but I just wanted to go over it with you real quick because we're looking to, choose your market. So you've got very light jets / light jets. You've got, have you ever seen a jet be squawk free?
No.
That was the fastest response.
We have had aircraft that have not had
Switching up to Will.
airworthiness.
Warren Curry,
That's the answer
crew
to
chief.
I'm a politician. Yes and no.
Yeah. Let them know on
Hello,
LinkedIn.
welcome everybody to the Jet Life Podcast. My name is Tom Lelio. I'm your ultimate jet guide, and on today's episode, we're speaking with Warren Curry of Crew Chiefs. Welcome, Warren.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me. And I shamelessly am plugging Crew Chiefs as I sit here on your podcast, but glad to be here.
I love it. And this episode is made in partnership with GLADA, the Global Licensed Aircraft Dealers Association, of which both Crew Chiefs and Jet Life Aero are members of. So thanks to them.
I think what GLAD is doing is tremendous across the board for industry, and you see, from brokerages to operators to folks like us that are more on the maintenance side of the industry. But
There we go.
the sharing of
Tag team.
insights and ideas and what's happening in
LinkedIn.
the industry, I find invaluable. So I think
Back
it's
to
a
the
great
calls.
organization, and we're glad to be a part of it.
For sure. And I think it's really important for jet buyers that
What up,
when they get
TikTok?
into and they start working with
McFly.
anybody in the industry, whether it be a mechanic, a pilot, a broker, it's good to know who is the company that they keep with. And by working with GLADA or organizations like that, that
Definitely grind right.
individual.
Under your
Yeah,
business.
again, can't say enough good things about it.
Well, Warren, you are the founder and the chief operating officer at Crew Chiefs. And I love this LinkedIn bio that we have here. You founded Crew Chiefs to raise the bar and become the global industry leader in client representation for private jet
Tom with Jet
buys,
Life Aero. Hope you're doing
completions, and
well, man. I
refurbishments.
know it's been
You are
a
passionate
minute since
about
we reached out on
exceptional
Hotel Lima. Wanted to
representation,
just
unparalleled
catch up,
attention to
see what's the
detail, and
latest and the greatest, see if I can help you in any
consultation
way. I know we were talking
during
about
these
possibly
critical types
selling it
of
last
private jet
year. Never saw it
inspections.
come to the
And I love the
market,
fact that
so
your
want to see what's the
approach is to
story.
provide
If I can
highly
help you in any way, give me a call at your
experienced
convenience. 941
strategically
241
located around
2682.
the world. So
Talk to
you're
you
not
later.
just like a mom and pop kind of a thing. And you're supporting this by quality management systems, reporting softwares to make sure that your clients are receiving unsurpassed client focused services. Your tagline, don't be the only party not represented. Don't assume
We're back. If y'all are still there. Sorry about that. My computer literally just turned off. I don't know what the heck happened. Let's see if this is still. Can I uncheck this? All right, and then we'll add her back. That goes there. What up, TikTok? Hey, Michael. Oh, Ryan. Ryan, you came on over. That's cool, man. I appreciate that. Let me go over here. Let's go back to the Ultimate Jet Guide. And what were we watching? Oh, Crew Chiefs. Podcast. Here we go.
Private jet buys,
There we go.
completions, and refurbishments. You are passionate about exceptional representation, unparalleled attention to detail, and objective consultation during these critical types of private jet inspections. And I love the fact that your approach is to provide highly experienced professionals strategically located around the world. So you're not just like a mom and pop kind of a thing. And you're supporting this by quality management systems, reporting softwares to make sure that your clients are receiving unsurpassed client-focused services. Your tagline: don't be the only party not represented.
If he's ready to
don't assume, verify. I love it.
Just as a company, you know, we're solving some industry problems, and I know, you know, folks like yourself, Tom, operator, you know, it's the standardization of this technical representation. There are great individuals doing this across the globe, but whether you have an aircraft in Hong Kong, London, or Florida, where we're at, you know, all going at the same time, you know, is the person on site? What checklist are they using? And what type of reporting am I going to get back? Am I going to get a phone call, a Word document, a PowerPoint? We've eliminated those. We have them all. And then as a broker, you know, how do you take that, digest it, and then process it for a client? And so, you know, what we've been able to do, and we have over 30 crew chiefs on 6 continents. You know exactly going in to every type of technical representation inspection, you know, what that checklist is going to look like. And then when you get the report, there's executive summaries for folks that maybe don't have the amount of experience and technical knowledge of aircraft. And we try to use layman terms so they understand what I call the bottom line up front, right? What if there's anything you want to know about what's happening, this is it. And then we have there's pages and pages with pictures, all well put together of all the technical aspects that, you know, folks like you and I have been in the industry a long time can really dive into and understand. So, yeah, we think we've solved that problem, and and we're passionate about what we do, and so is our crew chiefs. They have literally on average over 30 years in the industry.
That was a fun one.
We've been very fortunate with the folks we've been able to bring on.
Actually, Tom, how about you hang up the phone?
Pre-buy, you know, some guys
going in
pilots and their mechanics
for phase 1 through 4 inspection.
If they understand their standardization, their systems, their process, they have a good relationship, by all means.
All right.
Let them go out there.
So welcome to the live stream. We're back. If anybody has any questions about how to buy or sell a private jet, I'm here for you. Julia, what's going on?
you guys can fit.
Julia's
into
in the
this. For
house,
first-time buyer
as
that maybe
always.
doesn't have the mechanic in place yet.
Sometimes it's just nice to have stuff in the background, you know?
You guys provide great services
Miss
for you to
Kim.
be able to step in there. For example, the deal we were working on, we had a buyer in the U.S.
Julia, are the audio levels okay? Can you hear me all right while the video's on? And then when I mute myself, can you hear the video loud enough? That's the goal.
On behalf of the buyer, and we even started coordinating ancillary services like the charter brokers and such. So you guys really do have a wide breadth of expertise that you can help with a number of issues that may pop up or problems that need to be solved in any kind of transaction.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We were working that, and again, throughout this, I'll be very vague, and because I don't want to talk specific clients and aircraft for confidentiality purposes. But we're working a project right now with the seller, and what's really neat about, and it's not me, it really is our crew chiefs, the folks that we have on board is.
Yes, you love it when the secretary just hangs up on your ass.
That regional knowledge is so critical.
It's like, hey,
so critical.
my name's Tom.
And the networking they have.
Call for your boss.
Before the end of the
Click.
day, we first found out, we were already.
Sometimes I call back. I'm like, I'm so sorry I dropped that call. That was rude of me.
Inspection that it was going to undergo.
And they're like, oh no, I meant to hang up on you. Like, all right, cool. Oh, thanks, Julia.
For someone that's not.
I hope they're helpful. I want to bring value to people, you know.
The pre-buy to know that, hey, we got your back, right? And I hate to use that expression, but we really do. And our folks get on site or off site, and they provide that comfort and protecting the interest. Listen, everyone in this industry, there's no one trying to do anything negative, right? But man, it sure helps to make sure that your representative is on there looking at your interest.
Cool to have them call me back. That'd be awesome.
Service centers are great. They make mistakes. Maybe some of the younger technicians may assess an issue wrong. They may bill incorrectly. Again, not doing it intentionally, but we're really that auditing consultation function to make sure that to the max extent possible, whether you're the buyer or seller, you're getting the most out of that pre-buy.
Why don't we talk a little bit about some nightmare stories? I mean, I'm sure you can share some nightmare stories, or maybe knight in shining armor stories where you had the opportunity to save one of your clients
Didn't really
from making
remember.
a mistake, a costly mistake, because of the pre-buy.
Yeah,
Okay, I will let him know. I don't know when he's going to be out because he has been sick, so I don't know when he'll be back.
Save the day stories really came into a heavy maintenance inspection. So let me briefly describe.
Yeah, let's get all three for sure.
Yeah, briefly describe what that's all about. What we're seeing from a lot of our clients is they have current clients that own aircraft that they sold to the client.
All right, we got about 5 minutes.
Under heavy maintenance inspection.
See what we can do here.
Well documented right now the bandwidth issues with
the thing with cold calling, it's not necessarily who answers and the conversations you have at the time, but who calls you back. So I had someone call me back yesterday that was possible 2 listings. So we'll see how that goes. All right, 2020.
Because they, are going to utilize the aircraft for this purpose, whatever the case is. So we go
all right, let's see if he's got any birds. The real Mark Days. What's up, man? How's the cell phone business going, dude? Good to see you. 10X. My man. Hi, Alyssa on TikTok. Josie Mendez on TikTok. And Mr. Michael on the Tickety Tack. All right. Let's make the calls.
That aircraft was not there. The client was unaware the aircraft was moved and was at a different location. So we became almost like a repo company, right? We had to find the aircraft. Yeah. So we were able to locate the aircraft through our network, literally calling and saying, hey, can you guys tell us if you might see this aircraft somewhere? So we were able to do that.
That's a good story Warren's telling. Hey, Mohammed.
The aircraft was in a single private hangar.
He was sent to do a pre-buy and the airplane wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Working on the aircraft.
You reached the board.
This client was spending a lot of money for that inspection. We did several video calls with the client who was actually not based in the U.S. describing what was going on, what our recommendation was. Bottom line is, and
Or
it didn't
press
cost us
1
money
for more
whatsoever,
options.
because he was eventually looking to
Remember, Tom with Jet Life Pharaoh. Hope you're doing well. Just going through the Citation 560 market. I know you probably get these calls all the time. I'm not here to waste your time, but just hoping that I might catch you at the right time. If you guys looking to make a change in 2024, I'd love the opportunity to work with you, let you know what the market's doing, what Charlie Tango might be worth, and just kind of reconnect as far as the citations are concerned. So if you want, give me a buzz at your convenience, 941-241-2682. Have a good day.
Because otherwise, anything that was done there during that heavy maintenance
Hey,
inspection
Julia.
was ignored
Okay, yeah, you said
by a
yes.
potential buyer.
I was
They
wondering if
literally
the
had to have
audio's at
repeated
good
the entire
levels.
inspection. So
And you confirmed it
I
was.
would say that
Couple comments
is
back.
one of our nightmare stories. Not really so much the play buy, but kind of is.
So it wasn't for sale in December.
The other things, and this is
You never know.
in general that
You
we're
just,
seeing a
you
lot,
never
is
know.
out of Asia, it's a seller's market. And, buyers are buying aircraft out of Asia. Some are great aircraft, some have been
Ring-a-ding-ding.
left outside. The amount of corrosion, pitting, leading edges.
And Julia, can you confirm
And what we see
when the phone's ringing that I hit
aircraft,
mute so you guys don't hear the conversations?
is
I'll let you hear a ring once in a while, but you don't get to hear it.
leading edge services to a degree where the material thickness is affected. And again, if you're a buyer that purchased that aircraft without having, again, someone like crew chiefs or another, very experienced technical representative, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars after ownership to replace all those leading edges. So it's essentially, I hate to say it in this term, they're putting lipstick on a pig, right? And they're polishing. So the layman's eyes look and say, it looks great. Our guys are going in and almost without even the right proper tooling initially, can tell you that material thickness is an issue and it needs to be replaced entirely.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, can you describe this term that a first-time buyer might hear, pencil whipping?
He is not looking to make a
Records and logos,
change.
right?
Got to do better.
Referring to it.
You know what it is? I'm letting their
pencil
energy being like,
is a
eh.
critical, an
I'm letting their
MRO
energy
service
impact
above
me and being like,
again,
oh, I should back
they
off.
are
Come on.
overwhelmed. They
Let's
are
just
trying
have
to get
fun.
through their inspections.
Let's
They are simply,
let's talk a little bit more.
I don't want to incorrectly
documenting
whether the aircraft has been worked on properly and all of the duties
Okay,
have
this
been
one's got two
accomplished,
owners.
or all the compliances for SDs and ADs.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Yeah, if you start hearing someone's confidential information and phone numbers and trying to Richie Valdez, what's up? Thanks for the comment on the audio. I appreciate it. Sometimes you hear it.
Of nothing but record reviews, logbook reviews to make sure that doesn't occur. And I highly recommend anyone purchasing an aircraft.
And when I mute it, you should still hear the YouTube video, right?
But ring the bell.
This guy warm glasses talk.
Make sure those records and logbooks are critical.
You're taking a look at the records and you're trusting those records, right? And sometimes, best case scenario, someone just kind of makes an error. Worst case scenario, someone's trying to, pull the wool over your eyes. Like, yeah, I did a phase 1 through 5 inspection. Yep, sign off, it's done. And then you come to a pre-buy, someone like you, and you're looking at it, you're like, there's clear fuel leaks. There's corrosion all under the belly. Like, did you really do a phase 1 through 5 inspection and inspect all this? Because it doesn't look like it. And you signed off that this was done, like yesterday.
Have a great day.
So,
Osman Ali Shaikh. Hello. Welcome. Welcome on Instagram. TikTok user 85086143900 is here. What's up? You guys can throw some likes in the TikTok world. Apparently it helps us get more views. All right. I'm going to call this owner, and this is going to be it because the power hour is over. It's been more than an hour. So let's do one more call. Same jet, just a different owner.
Airworthiness, yes, we've gone through very well maintained, documented care and fed for aircraft that had no airworthiness concerns. what
And then what would you categorize the levels as?
of squawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I appreciate you asking. Most people are just like, "What do you want?" Or they hang up on me. It's going well. Appreciate you.
The aircraft's not flying otherwise. I would say our second level squawk is.
Ha! I thought it was nice, and then he hung up on me. I'll send him a text message. Although it might also be because I was delayed. Sometimes I didn't get my call. James, I'm with Jet Live Aero. Sorry, I dropped the call. Just reaching out on enter serial number. See if you guys are looking to make a change in the new year. And then you get these calls all the time, not wanting to waste your time, just hoping to catch you at the right time. Have a fantastic Thursday. Sorry, I should change this to terrific Thursday. Terrific Thursday. Asterisk. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for joining for this power hour. I don't know if we have one scheduled for tomorrow, but if we do, I'll just pop up on live. But yeah, anytime you guys give me a buzz. Hey, BizApp guy, dude, I've been watching your stuff. Dude, if you want to join, go ahead. I'll bring up on TikTok. That'd be some fun. Hey Ryan, what's going on, man? Yeah, but if anybody wants to know about Sound Private Jets, let me know. I'm here for you guys. I really do appreciate all your time, energy, and efforts hanging out with me. And we'll catch you tomorrow when it's time to come back on. All right, Warren, we'll catch your video tomorrow. Appreciate you. Catch you later.